Think John Dutton's departure was the biggest shock in Yellowstone's final season? Think again. The Dutton family is on the brink of absolute chaos, and with their patriarch out of the picture, things are about to get wilder than ever. Imagine the intense family drama with no John to keep everyone in check. In these last episodes, secrets will explode, alliances will shatter, and every Dutton is on their own. So, what's really about to go down? Stick around as we dive into everything we think is coming in Yellowstone's epic final run. Let's go back a little. Everything was set up for a confrontation between Jamie and Beth when we left off in the first part. It's finally time for the long-standing animosities and familial baggage that these two have been circling each other like predators to explode. Nearly every fan can sense the simmering hostility between Beth and Jamie because it has been simmering for so long. Normally, John could intervene and prevent things from getting out of hand, but when he wasn't involved, things may spiral out of control. Can you see Case trying to arbitrate this mess? No one is there to stop them. No way. Every button is for itself. If you're hoping for a peaceful family meeting around the dinner table, think again. What we're about to witness is more likely to be an all-out battle. But before we get swept into the madness of this family feud, we still need answers, big answers, about what's going on with John. He's been the heart and soul of that ranch, refusing to let go of it no matter how intense the financial pressure became. And remember, he's doing it all because of a promise he made to his father. So what's the scoop here? Why is he suddenly missing, and how will the show handle it? The prevailing theory is that John might have died, which would explain his absence. But that's all just speculation for now. Either way, John's fate has to be addressed first when the show returns. They can't just ignore it or brush it off. Meanwhile, production for these final episodes is moving full throttle, with the release date just around the corner, so fans could get a sneak peek soon. But here's the thing. Will that preview show anything of Kevin Costner's John Dutton? That's still up in the air. All we know is that Kelly Riley, who plays Beth, is fired up about it, and if she's that excited, fans have every reason to be on the edge of their seats. Now let's dive into Beth's world for a second. She's had one of the most intense journeys on the show, 5 seasons of constant emotional and physical turmoil, yet she's remained steadfastly loyal to her family, especially her father. In many ways, she's like a mirror image of John, stubborn, ruthless, and fiercely protective. And now, with John possibly out of the picture, she's stepping into the biggest battle of her life. The conflict between her and Jamie has been a slow burn, but with John gone, it's about to explode in a spectacular way. This isn't just a sibling spat. It's looking like an all-out war. If John is indeed dead, it'll drive Beth to the edge. And Jamie? He might just end up as public enemy number 1 in her book, especially if there's even a hint that he had something to do with their father's death. If that's the case, Beth's fury will be unstoppable. All bets are off and things are about to get intense. However, Beth is now raising her own family with Rip and their adopted son, Carter, and isn't simply about anger and retaliation. Now she has even more to defend. She becomes much more dangerous as a result of this change, as anyone who threatens her family is immediately targeted, and Jamie is definitely in her crosshairs. In every aspect, those last episodes will be dynamite. Never one to back down, Beth will go to any lengths to defend the people she cares about. Once we get past all this drama, the big question looms: what's next for Yellowstone after this explosive season? How will it all wrap up? Will it give fans the closure they crave or leave them hanging and desperate for more? While no one can say for sure, it sounds like the Yellowstone saga won't be completely over when the flagship show ends. There's already talk of a new spin-off series called The Madison, and it's generating a lot of buzz. And get this, the cast they're assembling is incredible. They've got Michelle Pfeiffer, Matthew Fox from Lost, and Patrick J. Adams from Suits. That's one powerful lineup. But here's what fans are really wondering. Will we see any familiar faces from Yellowstone popping up in this new series? We're talking about fan favorites like Kelly Riley, Luke Grimes, or Cole Hauser. So far, there's no official word on that front, but it would be wild to see them make an appearance, right? Fans are buzzing with excitement and nerves, wondering if the Dutton family can actually keep their precious Montana ranch. And here's where it gets juicy. Taylor Sheridan might have accidentally spilled a huge spoiler about the show's ending, sending fans into a frenzy of theories and speculation. Rumors are swirling that there could be a sixth season in the works, but this new season would supposedly focus on Beth Dutton and Rip Wheeler. If this rumor holds, it could mean a lot of things. But one theory stands out: Jamie Dutton's fate. Spoiler alert, it's not looking good for him. If you've been keeping up with the show, you'll know that Season 5, Part 1 left us on a cliffhanger with tensions boiling over between Jamie and his sister Beth. But here's where things get even more interesting. Apparently, Sheridan might have let something slip, with reports from Deadline hinting that this potential sixth season, focusing on Beth and Rip, is already in development. Nothing has been officially confirmed yet, but fans are going absolutely wild. The big question on everyone's mind is this: if Beth and Rip are sticking around for another season, what does that mean for Jamie? The assumption is that if Beth and Rip are safe for Season 6, Jamie might not make it out of Season 5 alive. This could very well be a spoiler dropped right in front of us. And as if that wasn't enough to fuel the fire, Wes Bentley, the actor who plays Jamie, has already hinted in interviews that things aren't looking bright for his character. Bentley has been giving subtle hints that Jamie may not be around much longer. He's mentioned how intense the tension between Jamie and Beth is right now, and fans can feel it. It's like we're watching a ticking time bomb. Could this really be the end for Jamie? Let's talk about Wes Bentley's performance as Jamie. He's absolutely nailed it, giving us a complex, flawed character that fans love to hate. Jamie's journey has been brutal. He even killed his biological father to prove his loyalty to the Dutton family. And then there's Beth, who's constantly holding that over his head, blackmailing him and reminding him of his past. It's as if Jamie has been trapped in a cage of guilt and manipulation, with Beth as his relentless tormentor. But now, with Jamie going after his adopted father, John, and facing off against Beth, it's clear he's ready to snap. Bentley has even opened up about how raw and vulnerable Jamie is right now. In these final episodes, in a chat with Entertainment Weekly, Bentley shared that Jamie is in the angriest, most intense state he's ever been. He's not just upset, he's out for blood and ready to take huge risks. According to Bentley, Jamie is in the rawest, most vulnerable place he's ever been, and it sounds like this dark emotional state could push him to make some drastic moves. All this intense emotion building up is setting the stage for a fiery conclusion to Jamie's storyline. But here's the real question. Will it be his last? Bentley has subtly prepared fans for Jamie's possible end, and it seems like he's bracing for that idea himself. He's hinted that Jamie knows he might not survive the chaos happening all around him, especially with his family constantly in turmoil. In another interview with Deadline, Bentley revealed that Jamie has already envisioned his own endgame. It's as if Jamie is walking into this final showdown knowing it could be his last. He's aware of the risks, but, at this point, he's just trying to make the best of a bad situation and seizes any chance he can get. It's like he's saying he knows how this could end, but he's going down fighting anyway. Whatever happens next, one thing's for sure: Yellowstone fans are in for an explosive ride. Even if this is Jamie's last stand, the show is in good hands, and Sheridan's storytelling promises a wild finish. But while the on-screen drama is expected to be intense, what's been happening behind the scenes is where things get really wild. The end of John Dutton? Early in 2024, Kevin Costner, who plays John Dutton, finally broke his silence, and let's just say it explains a lot about why Season 5 has been dragging along and why the show is wrapping up after this season. It turns out things were pretty rocky between Costner and the production team. Back in May 2023, it was announced that Season 5 would be Yellowstone's grand finale. Fans were gutted and totally confused. Why was this happening? Well, a lot of it came down to scheduling issues with Costner, who's officially stepping away from the show. And apparently Taylor Sheridan, Yellowstone's mastermind, wasn't thrilled about this turn of events. Sheridan didn't hold back his disappointment when Costner made his exit official, even hinting that Costner's new film project Horizon, an American saga, might have shifted his focus. Sheridan remarked, "I hope it's worth it," which sounded a bit like some low-key shade. Of course, Costner wasn't going to leave without clearing the air. In an interview with Deadline, he laid out his side of the story, and let's just say he didn't hold back either. He talked about how things went sideways with the Yellowstone production schedule. According to him, he initially signed up to shoot 7 seasons. But somewhere along the way, those plans got, as he put it, renegotiated, and suddenly he was only booked for seasons 5A and 5B. That's when the chaos started. Costner said he showed up ready to work in April and May, fully expecting to shoot the usual 10 episodes and wrap up by August like they'd done in the past. But then, no scripts were ready. He was all set to work, only to find out they didn't have enough material to film. He even mentioned they needed 4 more days just to finish the first 8 episodes. Costner was apparently pretty bummed for the fans who expected a full season, especially since he'd adjusted his whole schedule to make it work. And then, there were those insane rumors. You probably heard them too. People were saying Costner only wanted to work a single week for the entire season. Costner made it crystal clear that wasn't true at all. He explained that when he showed up and there were no scripts, he told them, "Look, if you really want to end this on a high note, the best I can offer is a week." But somehow, that turned into Costner only wants to work 1 week, and suddenly it was a whole thing. So, what was really going on? Costner said the whole mess was really due to how Paramount and 101 Studios managed the situation. He claimed they had him signed on for 3 more seasons, 5, 6, and 7. He was all in, but then everything kept changing. And after all that back and forth, he's now walking away. The crazy part? Despite everything, Costner still left a tiny sliver of hope for fans. He said he'd consider coming back, but only if the writing is there. So, it's not a flat-out no, but he's definitely not holding his breath. It's clear fans are walking into the next season without Costner. But that's not all. You'd think John Dutton's sudden absence was all about Costner stepping back, but according to Kelly Riley, Taylor Sheridan actually planned for John to disappear all along. Sheridan apparently always intended for John Dutton to be missing in the final act of the story. Let's rewind a bit here. For nearly the entire series, we've watched John Dutton put everything on the line to protect his huge Montana ranch from every enemy imaginable. Land-hungry developers, shady politicians, even people from his own past. John has battled them all, and fans have been glued to their screens with every punch he throws. But here's the thing. Season 5, Part 2 is now set to bring all that drama to a head, wrapping up the Dutton saga in a way that fans have been waiting for. But let's just say the road to this final chapter has been far from easy. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Riley shared something surprising. John's absence isn't some last-minute fix the team scrambled to accommodate because of Costner's exit. Nope, it turns out John's exit has been woven into the story from the very beginning. Sheridan apparently told Riley all about this grand vision way back in Season 1. According to her, it was all part of the plan. Riley didn't reveal too many specifics on exactly how John's exit was supposed to go down, but her words made one thing clear: Sheridan was in control all along. So, what does this mean for the second half of Season 5? Sheridan has been building up to this epic conclusion from the beginning, so we're likely in for something special. While hearing that John's disappearance was planned may bring some relief, it's definitely raising eyebrows. Kelly didn't explain how or when Sheridan had planned John's exit, but fans have always expected a dramatic finale for him. Let's be real. John Dutton has had close calls constantly, with enemies popping up around every corner. The idea that his story might end off-screen or without the massive showdown fans expected has people feeling on edge. John Dutton has been the heart of the show, the one fighting, struggling, and standing tall for the Dutton family legacy. Anything less than a grand exit could leave fans feeling a bit unsatisfied, don't you think? Now let's talk about the rest of the Dutton family. With John potentially out of the spotlight, there's room for Beth, Rip, Jamie, and Case to really step up. Each of them is carrying their own baggage and storylines, and with John gone, we might finally see these characters fully take center stage. Beth and Rip, in particular, are like the ultimate power couple of Yellowstone. Their fiery relationship has been the emotional core of the show, and they've always had John there as a looming figure in their lives. Now they might have to navigate this intense family drama on their own. Imagine Beth and Rip trying to take the reins of the Dutton Empire. It could be the most intense storyline yet. And then there's Jamie, the eternal outsider, always desperate for validation but filled with resentment. Without John around, he might finally see his chance to break free or even take control. But knowing Jamie, there's just as much chance he could end up in way over his head. His complicated relationship with Beth and the rest of the family has been like a ticking time bomb, and with John's absence, the fuse is officially lit. Will Jamie finally step up and claim his space, or will it all come crashing down on him? Let's not forget about Case, though. He's the reluctant heir, the one who's always been a bit distant from the family's darker dealings. But with John potentially out of the way, Case might have to step up in ways he's avoided before. His desire to protect his own family, especially Monica and Tate, could clash with the responsibility of maintaining the Dutton legacy. President is pushing for a massive project to install 2 natural gas pipelines under Montana, which could pollute the reservation's drinking water, a huge problem for Rainwater and everyone he represents. So, despite their differences, John and Thomas are more or less forced to work together on this. John, not one to play by the rules, throws the government's playbook out the window. He surrounds himself with his loyal crew, refusing to follow bureaucratic protocols. He's focused on protecting his family's land and isn't afraid to ruffle feathers to do it. It's John Dutton versus the entire political system, and honestly, it's kind of amazing. Then there's Summer Higgins, the environmental activist who was set to serve a long prison sentence. But John pulls some serious strings and gets her released under the condition that she's on house arrest at his ranch. He brings her straight into the Dutton family chaos, and naturally this doesn't. Beth isn't thrilled about Summer, who's already had her share of conflict with her. As tension builds between them, it eventually erupts into an all-out, no-holds-barred fight. They go at it, and hilariously, the men around them just step aside and let it happen. Somehow, this brutal showdown ends with the two of them actually respecting each other. Meanwhile, Beth and Rip, the show's power couple, are living their own kind of fairy tale, but with a Dutton twist. They got married back in season 4, and now they're settling into married life. Although Rip still doesn't know why Beth can't have kids, he just knows it's off the table, and they're making it work in their own way. They've taken in Carter, a teenage runaway, as their unofficial son. At first, Rip wasn't too keen on the idea, but over time, Carter really grew on him. Now they've got this tight-knit family dynamic, which is honestly kind of sweet for this notoriously ruthless couple. On the other side, Case and Monica are keeping their distance from all the family drama, which is probably smart. Case is still working as a livestock officer, and they're raising their son Tate away from the ranch's chaos. But tragedy struck them hard this season. Monica was pregnant, and just when it seemed like they were going to expand their little family, she and Tate were in a car accident that caused Monica to lose the baby. It was heartbreaking. John, being the family man he is, stepped up to help Monica cope, even sharing some of his own painful experiences with loss. It was a rare, vulnerable moment for him, showing that despite everything, family is still what matters most to him. Then there's Beth pulling off one of her classic power moves. Market Equities, a massive company, is trying to grab a huge chunk of Montana's land. But Beth isn't having it. She orchestrates a brilliant maneuver, selling her controlling interest in the Schwartz and Meyer Fund under one condition: the real estate remains under her control. By setting it up in a conservation easement, she ensures that Market Equities can't do anything with the land. She basically shuts down their plans. To celebrate, she gets into a bar brawl defending Rip's honor after someone tries flirting with him in front of her, And let's just say it didn't end well for them. Now, let's talk about Jamie. Oh, Jamie. He got completely played this season by Sarah Atwood, a high-powered lawyer from Market Equities. She cozies up to Jamie, making him think they're on the same team, and he falls for it completely. By the end of the season, she has him entirely under her spell. They're not just partners in crime, they're also romantically involved. She's quickly become Jamie's closest ally in his twisted quest to take down his own family. On the other hand, Beth and Jamie's sibling rivalry has hit new levels, and things are getting ugly. Beth has been holding a massive secret over Jamie's head all season. Remember when Jamie killed his biological father, Garrett Randall? Well, Beth knows about it and has been using it to control him, practically pulling his strings. For a while, it worked like a charm. Jamie had no choice but to go along with whatever she wanted. But then, out of nowhere, Jamie reached his breaking point and decided he was done playing nice. He made a bold move, flipping the tables on Beth and, by extension, the entire Dutton family. He went straight for John of all people, launching an impeachment inquiry against him. Jamie accused John of abusing his governor's power to block a major airport project that was supposed to benefit the state, calling him out for putting personal family interests over Montana. Suddenly, it's an all-out family war, Dutton versus Dutton, and there's no going back from this. Thanks for watching. With tensions boiling over and alliances shifting, the Dutton family is headed for their most explosive showdown yet. Will Jamie's betrayal finally break John's iron grip on the family legacy? Can Beth and Rip hold the ranch together as enemies close in? And will Case, the reluctant heir, be forced to step up and protect the Dutton name? We're on the edge of something epic, and this season promises a finale that could change everything. So, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and stay tuned as we dive into the twists, turns, and betrayals that are about to rock the Yellowstone universe.